What up, Bulls Nation? Peck here. We've got a live CHGO Bulls podcast coming up for y'all right around the corner. Lots to talk about today. First of all, Matas Buzelis is a commercial star now. That's fun. Also, we're going to dive into a great column that came out on The Ringer earlier today about the pros and cons of the Bulls making their way to their third straight play-in tournament. Coming up next. What's going on, Bulls Nation? Welcome into CHGO Bulls podcast. Coming to you live from our studios here in West Loop, downtown Chicago. I'm Peck, Bulls_Peck. That's Big Dave. Bow. Bow. BAWL Sports.
Purdue Pauls.
Will the Go Gottlieb, rocking the yellow.
JC Penny.
Perfectly Quaffs, Will_Gottlieb. Our queen of the controls, the one and only Katie Duffy. What up, Katie?
Bow.
Bow. CHGO Bulls brought to you by Bet365. Download that Bet365 app. Use promo code CHGO365 when you sign up. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Bulls off today. Actually, today and tomorrow before they're back in action taking on the Blazers on Friday. But got the big win last night.
Big win last night.
Season sweep on Toronto. Take that.
Tremendous. We out there, baby. Back in that play-in.
Clinching that play-in spot. Take
all
that.
right. They back in, man. Can't get us out.
How are you, Dave?
Oh, man.
Did you go to the parade this morning?
Oh, dude.
I missed it. I slept through my alarm. I missed the parade.
Oh, man. I was there.
You were there?
Oh, yeah, man.
Okay.
It was all kinds
solid turnout?
Oh, it was very solid, and then it was rained out. So, we had to leave, and it was just too much rain.
I guess that's when I showed up, because when I went to Grant Park this morning, no one was there.
Yeah, that's all it was. It was just the rain, took everything
I
out.
had my recorder out. I was ready to talk to some fans about
Oh, man, dog. People were divorced. Grant was thinking about coming, and Michael Jordan didn't return calls. And, yeah, but we were out there deep. You know what I mean? It rained, washed it away. But you can't wash away the joy of going back to another play-in game for the third straight season.
What if I use really strong soap? Can I wash it away then?
What kind? Well, it depends on the soap, sir. Some Dr. Bonners or something maybe would help it out, but
or
overall,
just like, how about turpentine?
Oh.
Can I wash it away with turpentine?
Okay, see, I can't trust you with that, because knowing you, when you get in the shower, you might take a sip. You might take a little sip of that.
Oh, there's a part of my brain that's been telling me to drink bleach for a while
see
now,
what I'm
Dave.
saying? Yeah.
For a while.
This is my point. And again, ladies and gentlemen, this is why I exist.
And demonetized.
What?
This is why I exist.
I'm the only person who's thought about drinking bleach as an upset sports fan. Yeah.
Yes.
There are literally memes created about such things.
Yes, memes, yes.
Yeah.
Correct.
I'd never do it.
No, of course you would. I
Doing it and
want to
thinking
allow
about
that.
it. Two different things.
I want to allow that. I told you my goal is to make you live a year longer than you want to.
I'm cashing out.
1 year. 1 year, dog. That's all I'm getting.
Thanks, everybody, for hanging out with us on YouTube. If you haven't done it yet, hit that like button and vote in that poll. Katie posed to the chat. More pros or more cons for the Bulls going back to the play-in? We will talk about that in a little bit. But first, our opening segment for the day, it's Who's Hot and Who's Not, brought to you, of course, by our friends at Prize Picks. And, gentlemen, let's start here. Matas Buzelis is hot.
On fire.
Not only has he put up some of the best numbers of his rookie season in the month of March that just concluded, to the tune of 13.7 points per game.
Pretty good.
Very respectable shooting splits, 46.3 from the field, 35.5 from three.
Sounds good.
Check this, 92.6% from the free throw line. Matas went to the free throw line 27 times in the month of March. He hit 25 of them.
Damn.
It's just like a little unknown little blip that people were maybe not looking too closely at. I was looking at his March splits. I was like, hell yeah, Matas.
That's going to make him
In
extra
15
scary.
games, 27 trips to the free throw line, 92% clip. Love that. Also, a month-by-month best of 4.8 rebounds per game and 1.7 assists, 1.1 blocks. Matas is playing well.
Yeah.
Of course, had the career-high 31. Followed that up shortly thereafter with a 28-point night.
Yeah.
In their 1-point loss to Dallas.
I do have a question.
What's the question?
Are you surprised, because the NBA rookie ladder came out, the kid NBA rookie ladder came out today. Are you surprised that Matas is not in the top 10?
No.
When you say rookie ladder, are you talking about rookie of the year
Yes.
polling or
Yes.
okay?
Just
You know how they do
yeah,
the
he
MVP
wasn't-
ladder?
Right,
They do one
right.
for the rookie.
Yeah.
also.
He just didn't play enough early on in the season.
That.
And I think that is just a little bit insurmountable for him to come back from when you have guys like Risache, who's been basically starting all year, or at least playing starters minutes. Stephon Castle, guys like that. Giddey, Jalen Wells even was a guy who was like just playing a huge role on a good team from the start. So do I think that means that Matas isn't as good or can't be as good as those players? Absolutely not.
Right.
But I do think it was just going to be hard to come back from just not playing enough minutes. If you were looking at the last month, I think he'd be much higher up there.
Well, Stephon Castle's running it. Risha Shea at 2, ALLCITY at 3, Khalil Aware, your guy, at 4, Jalen Wells, Fia. Is that Missy from New
Missy,
Orleans
yeah. Yes,
Pelicans?
Missy, yep.
6, Zach Edey at 7,
Mhm.
Isaiah Collier 8, Bub Carrington, shout out, at 9, and a tie at 10 between Donovan Clingan and my guy Kyle Filipowski.
So I agree with Goat. No, it's not surprising to me. The different question where I would say, yes, I would be surprised is straw poll, NBA people, specifically NBA draft experts, redraft right now, the 24 draft class. If you're doing a redraft of the 24 draft class and consensus poll does not have Matas in that top 10, that is what would surprise me.
If they don't have him in the top 5 or 3, it's egregious.
So you
to be
just
real
think
with you.
we could just do this as a quick exercise. Riza Shea, Sar, and Reed Shepard, 1, 2, 3. Anybody going differently?
I don't think Reed would go as high.
I agree. Dude balled out before heading to the draft. Stephon Castle at 4, Ron Holland at 5, Tijan Salon at 6.
I mean, Salon is not.
Matas is jumping at least one of them.
Yeah, for sure.
Clingan at 7, Dillingham at 8, Zach Edey at 9. Matas jumping any of them?
I would let him jump.
I mean, it's
those
just
guys.
like team needs. Like the Blazers were drafting a center, the Grizzlies were drafting a center,
Right.
Yeah.
and the Timberwolves traded up 2031 pick to go
Yeah.
get Dillingham. So
Yeah.
I think you judge this on the flashes.
I think to me it's more like should he have gone 5 to the Pistons instead of Ron Holland, or should he have gone 6 to the Hornets instead of Tijan Salon? And I think the answer to at the very least the latter is yes.
Yeah.
I don't know
Hornets for sure,
if
yeah.
the Pistons would still. That's I believe where I mocked him to go 5 to the Pistons.
Flex.
So I was a little surprised that he fell, and obviously great for the Bulls. But
Shout out.
I do think that if you're looking at redrafting this, there's no way he's not at the very worst a top 10 pick, but probably a top 5 pick.
Top 5.
Ecobean thinks Matas is the best rookie of his draft class.
I'm not going
I
to
think
argue
that
with
is
you.
a too soon to tell kind of thing.
I'm not going to argue.
Which along those same lines, Devin in the comments saying there should be a retroactive rookie of the year, as in 3 to 5 years from now, which rookie prospered and which languished. I mean, another way you can look at that is winners of the most improved player award are
Yes.
usually players towards the end of their rookie scale contract making that big jump,
That's a great point.
who maybe did not come onto the scene right away, like a Zion or a Luka or Wemby even.
But I think there's also something to be said for rookies that can come in and contribute right away,
Right.
or that
Yeah.
are really good right away.
Sure. That
For
could
sure.
give you that every single night, that consistency. Yeah, something to be said for that, for sure.
So Matas definitely hot. Loved what we saw from him in March with his increased role, his minutes. On top of that, he is hot as in like so hot right now, hot. Because it dropped, was it yesterday? When that
Yesterday.
Lyrical Lemonade ad hit the
Yes.
internet waves? Katie, do you have that quick short commercial we can play if you haven't seen it yet? Even if you have, let's watch it again.
Watch it one more time.
It's Matas. Play it.
Nah, I'm cool, man. You know, you got big ass lemon head and stuff, and I'm from Philly. You don't really want this. Oh, you wanted that, huh? Okay. Don't you know you won the lotto? You, my man, my dude. You doing a lot? Hey, who are you, man? Seriously.
Dude, the grin and the little laugh at the end when it
Yeah.
takes the lemon head, giant mask thing off. I adore so much.
Yeah.
I think Matas had fun making that commercial.
I did too. I like the fact they didn't say his name either.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, oh, if you know, you know.
Real ones
kind
know
of
who
situation.
this young man is.
Yes, I love it. I loved everything about it. I like, because my friend was asking me when he sent it, he was like, what was this? He was like, what was this for? And I said, honestly, that's not a question I care about. I was like, Matas Buzelis with Will Smith hanging out, bro. Like, as a rookie, you've won. Like, that is awesome stuff right there. Like, to get that kind of national exposure to where one of the biggest stars in Hollywood, who just dropped an album, one of the biggest stars in Hollywood wants to come, and shoot a commercial with you, the only answer is yes. I don't care what it's for. I'm like, sure, I'll be there, Will Smith. This for bobbleheads? Yep, I'm there. Shout out. Oh, it's for light fixtures? I'm in, Will Smith. Thank you for having me here. I'm a rookie. Like, seriously, like, for real. It's Will Smith. Will Smith.
I like that he is not ever shying away from the limelight.
Yeah.
He went straight to the dunk contest.
Yeah.
Went how it went, but like, I just think that's a good sign for a guy. And we know about his confidence and his approach to the game, but like, and even the way he talks about himself, like he wants to be not just like the best version of himself, but he wants to be a great player. He wants to be an all-time player.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you need to have a little bit of that in order to get there. And so I liked seeing him do this. I don't really know what it's about or what, but it was cool.
Yeah.
I like it.
Matas was there.
Devin says, unfortunate thing is they probably weren't even in the same studio recording that. Can you see both of them in at least one of those shots? I mean, I don't know. Because also I did think it was funny that towards the beginning of it, it's like, oh, we're going to square up. All right, Will Smith has the basketball in his hands and he kind of like makes a little like move like he's about to step. Yeah. And then it cuts to Matas being the one dribbling towards the rim and dunking.
Yeah, man.
I don't know if they actually play a little half-court one-on-one on that set. I'm guessing no.
I'm going to guess no. But it happened. He's in there with Will Smith. And we're going to watch that again and again and again.
It seemed like something that Will Smith took 12 seconds out of a very busy day.
Yeah.
I got to knock this out real quick. Okay, fine. But even still, it's the fact that Matas is in a commercial with Oscar winner, Grammy winner?
Yes. First ever
Emmy winner?
First ever rap artist to win a Grammy was Will Smith.
Is he an EGOT guy? No, not
I'm guessing he doesn't have a Tony.
No Tony.
Yet. Yeah.
We'll see.
Or Emmy? I mean,
I believe he has an Emmy.
Did he get an Emmy for Fresh Prince? I mean, he should have.
I could be wrong.
That show had heart. That show had humor.
Yeah.
I freaking love Fresh Prince, man.
How come he don't want me, man?
Oh. Yank your heartstrings out.
Oh, yank it down.
I mean, how frequently is that GIF or meme used among the sports internet world to describe some other moment compared to a moment of him looking around that empty living room?
Yeah, yeah.
That young Will Smith in Fresh Prince, like such a huge part of like the sports culture universe.
What do you say, Will?
I just was looking it up. He still needs an Emmy and a Tony, but he obviously has won a Academy Award and
Grammys,
Golden Globe.
Okay, well, so now we
and
know
4 Grammys.
that it was highway robbery that Will Smith never got an Emmy for Fresh Prince.
Yeah,
because that show was freaking incredible.
It was ridiculous, man. So he still got time. He's Will Smith. He's still got time to do some stuff. So we'll see how it goes. He'll be on tour this summer, and then he's filming a new Men in Black.
Men in Black 5?
The check was large, according to Will.
Sure.
The bag. They threw the bag.
You know what? You know what still bugs me is that he was not in the long-awaited sequel to Independence Day. And I believe it was his choice because Will Smith wanted the studio to cast his son as one of the main characters of Independence Day 2. I think it was Independence Day Resurgence. Yeah. And the studio said no. And so Will Smith was like, all right, F you. I'm not doing it.
Yeah, I don't need
And so
this.
like the Independence Day sequel begins with like a remembrance of Captain Hillard. Like he died.
Yeah.
In between these movies, Will Smith's character died.
It's one of those movies that I watched that I truly don't remember, too much from.
Oh.
But I remember
I
Will
went
Smith.
to the theaters to see it knowing I would be let down.
Yeah, of course.
Because the OG Independence Day is one of my favorite movies of all time.
Welcome to Earth.
It's so good.
That's right.
That's right. Oh.
Welcome to Earth, baby.
Sometimes
Katie,
you just got to go to get this. Tell me you've seen Independence Day.
Yeah, I've seen the original one. I didn't see the
Okay,
second
all
one.
right.
That's all that matters.
Okay.
That's all that matters.
All right.
If you had told me you hadn't seen the OG Independence Day, I was about to shut down today's show and tell you to put it on right now.
Turpentine.
Maybe we still should. We got to take our first break. But shout out to Matas. He's been cooking. He is hot. He is what's hot. What's not? I don't know. Patrick Williams, Pro Tankers. Not very hot right now. Hit the like button while we share some words from our friends and sponsors, and we'll come back, dive into the Bulls making the play-in tournament. Matas.
Game time hoot.
I just had to catch it and be ready, man. Oh, man. You have to be ready when I say these things, and I appreciate you doing that. Because Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets easier than ever to see your favorite teams play live. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Curation makes it easier to save more on sports, concerts, comedy, theater, one-man shows, two-person shows. It don't matter. Save you some money with Game Time. Of course, they got that all-in pricing. Of course, they got that lowest price guarantee. Of course, they got that Game Time ticket coverage, which comes with the most flexible customer service policy in the entire ticketing industry. But they got the Mac and Big Day favorites. Safe views. Where you at? Where they got to be? I got to put the dogs up. I got to see where I can stretch them. You see that? Those are the dogs. They just did. Oh, look at the comfort. Yeah. You know why? Because he was on the seat views. He knew where the beer was in the back. Sam Adams, American Light. Got it. Where can I exit out here? Gotcha. Is there somebody going to be in front of me bothering me? Don't matter because I'm chilling right now because I'm tall. That's Matthew Peck, ladies and gentlemen. You can be like this too with Game Time. So take that guesswork out of buying those tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use that code CHGO. Get yourself $20 off your first purchase.
Terms apply. Terms apply.
I said CHGO. Get yourself $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Terms apply. Download Game Time today. Because we're going to go Gottlieb. What time is it?
Game time. Hoot.
Today's show brought to you by Bet365. Bet365 is live in Illinois, y'all. Whatever the moment is never ordinary at Bet365. And right now, new customers can take advantage of that incredible offer. Get $150 in bonus bets when you bet $5. Win or lose that bet. Either way, don't matter. You get the $150. Sign up. Use promo code CHGO365. Deposit $10. Just put $10 in. Take half of that $10 and put a bet down on the NBA game that you're excited to watch tonight. It's that simple. And then even if that bet doesn't hit, it's okay. You can always try again, and you can try again with the $150 in bonus bets that they're going to give you just for signing up and throwing $5 in a bet.
That's it.
Also, for all of you baseball fans out there, we just watched the Cubbies close out a dub. Sox still going on right now after a rain delay. But with the Bet365 early payout offer, you're a winner if your team goes 5 runs ahead with an instant payout on straight bets and parlay selections marked as winners. Download the app. And again, use that promo code CHGO365 when you sign up. Bonus bets can be used on the spreads, totals, player props, futures, and more. Whatever the moment, it is never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 and older. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER. Bada bing, bada boom.
Bada bing, bada boom.
All right, so rolling along. Next point of discussion. This is one of my favorite pieces of writing about the Bulls in a while.
That I didn't write.
That Goat didn't. I was about to say, let me finish. From an outside perspective, an outsider's perspective.
Good save.
Every once in a while,
Outsiders.
Somebody who covers the NBA at large on a national scale will write something about the Bulls. And it's usually, they're infrequent, and it's usually like, ha ha, look at the Bulls. It's like Nelson from The Simpsons. But so this was Michael Pina for The Ringer, and I highly recommend after we talk about it, go give it a read yourself. It's free to read. I thought it was great at representing both large factions of Bulls fans right now in one thought process of where this team is, because he highlights the good things about what we've seen, not just for this stretch of the season, but moving forward, things that are promising, and then also highlighting reasons for legitimate skepticism, pessimism, and what could go wrong if they continue down this path. And just to kind of take his thesis that I thought he laid out really well, and then we could dive into it. Michael Pina said the following things, if you want to throw that clip up, Katie. Right now, the pesky Bulls might be two things at once. A babyface troupe that plays into its strengths with a high-octane, no-breaks, three-point loving style of play, and a middling pack of overachievers that is punching above its weight during a stretch of the season when a bunch of teams either want to lose or are already looking ahead to the playoffs. And I read that, and I thought, he's absolutely right. Two things can be true at once. This is something we need to remind ourselves of sometimes as Bulls fans, as sports fans in general. especially with all of the infighting and arguing back and forth. And some of it is like good. Discourse is good. People discussing a topic that have differing viewpoints on it is a good and healthy thing. But sometimes, especially for a fan base, it can get so insular, and then insular becomes toxic in a way. People become more and more entrenched in their views in a way. And I thought it was just a very simple of laying out like, hey, this is true, and this is also true.
Yeah. I love this article. Again, I completely agree with you. I thought it was great. Sorry, Will go Gottlieb. I love just how he told both sides, and just it's like he was speaking how I felt. Like, this is exactly how I truly feel, with some differences in there that I'll get into a little bit later. Some things that I disagreed with, but as you said, Matt, that's very healthy.
Right.
Like, your overall point, I understand, because it's my overall point for the team. It's okay to be excited about these young guys and watching what they're doing. It's watching Coby, evolve, watching Josh Giddey get better, watching Matas kind of ascend. Like, the young guys are doing it more so than those veterans that were previously here, more so than Vooch is carrying them. It's those young guys that are truly doing it. And then the guys that they kind of brought in on the trade, I don't have any problem with that. Like, that is fine for me, watching those young guys grow and be that reason. But at the same time, you can sit there and say, well, this isn't the end all be all. This still needs more. You need more things on this team to be a better basketball team. You just can't go all in on one guy or two guys on this team. You're going to need something else. You shouldn't feel like I'll stay and you're completely settled, because that is where you get stuck in the mud of the middle when you continue to do it that way. So you can have those 2 point of views, and it only becomes a problem, as you stated, Matt, when you become entrenched in those views and say, nope, that's it. There's no other way. I'm right. This is the only way to do it. That's not how that works, man. It's because everything kind of changes with the more information that you get, as the GOAT constantly says. So, yeah, man, this was well written and exactly what my brain was thinking, and I really appreciated it, man. Like, it was very well done.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think that's kind of the conclusion I've been coming to also, is like, there's things about what we're seeing here. And I even wrote this last night. It was like, there's truth to what they're saying and what they're selling, which is that, like, it's good for these young players to be playing well at all. Like, it's good for them to be leading the team towards wins, whether or not that's in, the start of the year or the end of the year. Like, they are playing well. They're playing consistently well. They're playing to a consistent style, and they're winning games. That's a good thing. And it's good for them to be in positions where they have to navigate that stuff, where they have to figure out how to win these games, how to move up and down, hopefully up in the standings, for their own sake. And, like, learn how to, listening to Coby last night talk about, like, the mental fortitude of coming back and playing Miami after a really emotional, fun win against the Hawks last year, and just completely letting go of the rope against the Heat in the following game. And, like, the emotional wherewithal to come back and understand that you still have to have it in that second game. That's a learning experience that is tangible, that I think that Coby benefited from last year and will benefit again from this year. That's valuable. I understand that there's value in that. But at the same point, we also might already know that this group is going to cap out as somewhere in the middle class of the NBA, and they're taking away opportunities for themselves to get better. Billy and the Bulls have been very steadfast in their belief that, like, this playing this way, competing this way, not entering the tank race is helping their development. That is development for some of these young players. And I do see the value in that. But as Michael Pina says, like, two things can be true. And I think that's how I've been looking at a lot of these games, is like, yeah, it's fun to see them playing well. It's fun to see them winning. It's a lot better for them to be doing it this way than last year, where it was just DeMar and Alex Caruso dragging you to the 10th seed. Like, this is a young team that can still improve, and you're seeing them take steps forward. That's 100% positive. They were going to need to do that whether they got the first pick in this draft or not.
Yeah.
But it's also hard to imagine direct pathways to continuing to get better, other than the players in your team have to continue to get better. And again, that needs to be true regardless. But so then how do you do that? And I think what's frightening or what's concerning about the approach is that you're limiting your ways to be able to do that. And I'm not going to say that AK can't figure out a way to go out and get more talent, but it's just now instead of 3 avenues to do that, you only have 2.
Yeah.
And so that limits you.
Yeah.
So we'll see what he does. And I'm not going to say he won't do anything, or I'm not going to say he's screwed it up or whatever. It's just, this is the path that they're going. They are playing well. That's a good thing, but they need to keep building.
Yeah. It's making things a little more difficult on yourself when it was not necessary to do so.
Mm-hmm.
When you're trying to, build this team out
Yeah.
and make them a little bit better.
And that's, the thing that I can appreciate. And I agree, Goat. It is a good thing that we see Coby White playing this well, that we see Josh Giddey playing this well, especially if this team is about to invest in each of them largely contract-wise in each of the next 2 upcoming off seasons, Josh and then Coby. It can also be true because that's something I hear a lot from the anti-tankers who, are in my replies and comments on Twitter at any given time of the day or night is like, oh, so Peck just wants the young guys to look like crap and play like crap and lose?
Yeah, Peck.
No, I have never once said that. It can also be true that simultaneously they are putting themselves in a much harder position to climb out of if instead of climbing out of where they are now to back to maybe the top of the middle, climbing somewhere beyond that ever. Mm-hmm. And what I staunchly believe is that you need elite level talent to do so. AK doesn't believe that. And that is where we butt heads the most. Some Bulls fans are even buying into that and thinking a core of Coby, Giddey, and Matas is like, great, we've got this foundation, we've got this young core. Some Bulls fans do see that as some promising young talent, not the same thing as a core of players you're about to build a championship contender around and with as its primary pieces.
Yeah.
All of these things can simultaneously be true.
That's true.
And look, Michael Pina did highlight specifically what the Bulls' young team is doing well, and none of it's fabricated or fluff or like cherry-picking stats. It's all good stuff that cannot be denied. Their 3-point attempt rate being the biggest jump of any team in the NBA this season. They went from 27th to 3rd in the NBA in 3-point attempt rate in the span of 1 season. They are playing faster. They went from a middling pace-wise team last year offensively to the 4th fastest team, possessions per 48 this season. These are good things, and it is the Bulls playing to their strengths, especially we've seen in the dog days of March. They are running their opponents off the floor because their opponents are thinking about their opponent the next night or the playoffs or their flight to, the Maldives, wherever they're going on vacation when their crap team, misses the playoffs.
Shout out to the Maldives.
The recent play of Coby and Josh specifically, Michael Pina highlights as these are good things. Here is strong evidence of these guys playing well. And these are the guys you're thinking about building around. He highlights Matas Buzelis and his increased role in the back half of his rookie season. This is all good evidence. These are the pros of this Bulls team playing as well as they have played down the stretch and heading to another play-in tournament, experience. And the tip of that being, as Go, you were just saying, you can learn something as a young player who's never been to the dance before.
Yeah.
And if this, then that. Coby has been to the play-in tournament a couple times now. The Bulls did have that one playoff appearance against Milwaukee back in 2022, short-lived as it was.
It was.
Plenty of his teammates have never been. So there is that.
Yeah.
You can gain something from that experience, a learning experience.
And again, it's Coby and Giddey leading it there. It's not they're along for the ride or they're like, they're being dragged along. Like they're the ones in front. And I think that is really important. And it is a big distinction that I wanted to get across in my piece about it, was that it's different from previous years and that you can project that forward. This is not a situation like last year. I said this a bunch. It's not an accomplishment for a team full of aging veterans to make the play-in. It is an accomplishment for a young group of up-and-coming players who can continue to get better to make the play-in. And I think the Bulls were very much they benefited from the first 50 games of Vooch and Zach playing at a really high level, and they kind of used that as their jumping off point. We don't know how this would have gone if it was a full season. That's okay, but they're doing what they can now. And I think to just the point of the article, 2 things can be true. They're doing some good things. The young players are playing well, but they need to keep building, and I think they will. Yeah,
and it goes back before the season started, and we were having when we were debating about the lottery. You know what I mean? I think all of us wanted to go lottery. We were just debating about the ways to get there. But I said that if the Bulls end up in the playoffs, then I wouldn't be super mad about it because it means the growth and development of the young guys. It means the growth of Coby White. You know, I didn't see Giddey becoming, you know, what he did in March. So that's growth. You know what I mean? What he's done. It means Matas got better because I was including Ayo in that. I didn't see him being one of those guys that was injured. But they're doing this with Ayo out, with Lonzo being out, with Trey Jones being out, and they're continuing to be a good young team that is growing and developing. So them going to the playoffs for me would be because of that development of young guys. I'm not over the moon about it, but I'm not going to be super mad about it because I know that is the reason that they got there. And that's a good thing.
We got to knock out our second ad break. When we come back on the other side, plenty more to get to from this Michael Pina Ringer column. He has some cons that he put alongside his pros as far as the Bulls going to another playing tournament. And I'm guessing that's where, Dave, you said you might have an issue.
Just a little.
Or two
Just a little.
On some of his takes there. So we'll dive into that next. Hit the like button if you didn't do it the first time around. And while you're at it, make sure you subscribe to that CHGO Sports YouTube channel.
Yeah. Hey, Emma.
Emma's here. Hey, Emma. Emma, do you need new flooring?
Always.
If you do, you got to check out Empire. Always.
I don't know about always.
I always need new flooring.
That's an issue, but.
Just like your favorite team needs home court advantage, unless you're the Bulls and you play better on the road, your home needs a floor. A home floor advantage.
Ooh.
And Empire Today can help you get there. Empire Today has flooring experts dedicated to flooring professionals who focus on flooring every single day.
Yes.
As Dave would say, floors, 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 no matter what.
No matter.
It's all they do. We've all had those experiences at big box stores that do a million different things and do them, okay enough or just flat out poorly. You wander through a bunch of different aisles. You try and find somebody to help you. You're hauling a bunch of crap home.
Oh, God.
You're maybe going to DIY it or try and find an installer, coordinating everything. It's a mess. It's terrible. Empire just says, we'll just do everything for you. This is the easier way to do things. As a homeowner myself, I have found that this is always the better choice, y'all. A small DIY project? Great. New flooring? Trust the professionals. Empire Today lives and breathes flooring, and they will be with you every step of the way.
Facts.
It's a whole different ball game. Their flooring experts bring the showroom right to your home. Pick the right flooring and the right colors for your space. See how it looks with your furniture in your house. Also get precise measurements taken and have all your questions answered so there are no surprises.
No.
When you're talking about home improvement projects, no one wants surprises.
No.
A birthday party fun.
Hey.
No, not here. With Empire Today, you get clear upfront and all-inclusive pricing. Plus, you can schedule installation as soon as the next day because nobody likes waiting. Schedule your free in-home estimate today because some things are just better at home. CHGO listeners can receive a $350 discount when using promo code CHGO. Yes, you heard that right, a $350 discount with promo code CHGO. Restrictions apply. Visit Empire Today /CHGO for full details. 588-2300 Dave.
Empire.
Today.
Hey, I didn't know Emma was waiting for it.
I had Emma sitting here ready to catch the alley-oop pass, and you just changed the whole thing.
We
Interception.
can do it again. You want to do it again?
Serious.
Do
You run
it
that
again.
back?
Do it
Run that
again.
back.
Speaking of back, Emma, are the Bulls back?
So back.
I don't know if you guys heard, but the Bulls are back.
That's what I've been told.
Bulls are back. Back.
They're what now?
Back.
Uh-huh.
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 Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
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 Oh.
Uh-huh.
We have lost the plot.
Sunnyside.
Sunnyside.
Yeah,
Oh, Sunnyside.
there it is. This is literally me and Emma all the time. Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary, y'all. It's your home for judgment-free cannabis shopping. A place where all kinds of visitors are welcome to explore, discover, and purchase a wide array of high-quality hydroponics in the city. Sunnyside has everything you need to elevate your summer, winter, spring, and your fall. It's your one-stop shop for all your cannabis needs. Sunnyside has an expertly curated menu, with over 100 strains to choose from, plus easy online ordering and in-store pickup. Sunnyside is Illinois' favorite dispensary with locations in the city. Shout out Wrigleyville and River North, all the way out to the suburbs. Shout out to Champaign, South Beloit, and everybody else out there in the atmosphere. If you're starting out, Sunnyside has expert guidance on brands that we know that you'll love, like the Matt Peck favorite Good News and Mindy's. Or if you're a pro, you can be all good because they got you covered with over 100 strains on the menu and new ones added every day. That is daily, ladies and gents. We know that you'll love the Cresco. We know that you'll love the Florida Cows and the incredible quality and consistent products. So visit sunnyside.shop for bright buys every day, including 50% off your first 3 online purchases. You heard what I said. Enter your promo code HICHGO at checkout to qualify. Exclusions apply. Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary. Bright buys every day, only for 21 and over or Illinois MedCard holders.
Shout out to Sunnyside, the fine folks.
Salute.
The fine products.
Salute.
All right, guys. So diving back into this Michael Pina Ringer column about the Bulls and the weighing pros and cons. Multiple things can be true simultaneously about going to their third straight play-in. Some of the, well, this part isn't so great, things that he highlights. And I think all of them, you might not be surprised to hear, are fair to point out.
Yes.
The fact that these W's in March, 9-6, were mostly against subpar opponents. Some of them against quality opponents who are maybe keeping one eye down the road because they are playoff bound.
Yeah.
And that maybe you're putting too much weight in wins that aren't happening at the time of year when other teams around the league, your opponents, are as focused on those regular season wins as you are. Obvious one, you're killing your draft lottery odds, sending them straight to hell.
Destruction.
You are continuing to, as Goat was trying to say, yes, it's a good thing that a younger core than the previous one is the one leading you to a play-in tournament appearance. But are they leading you much farther than that next season or the season after? Is there a lower ceiling if you're buying into this core and moving forward without prioritizing adding more blue chip draft prospects to it? And then the big kicker. Yes, this is a fun young core. Yes, Coby White is on a very team-friendly deal right now. Josh Giddey's not expiring. If there is a certain ceiling to this team and you are paying that quote-unquote backcourt of the future potentially, each somewhere in the neighborhood of $25 to $35 million annually, how many avenues does AK have to add legitimate talent to that core? Because that core ain't winning a chip.
Not doing it.
That's the question. How do you do it? And I think there's probably, going to be a lot of luck involved. I think you have some real upside with Matas that there's still more for him to potentially explore on the ball. And I think that could be one of the ways. You can still find somebody later on in the draft. If they're drafting 15th or 16th, like there's a reason the guys that are being drafted 15th or 16th are being drafted 15th or 16th and not first or second. But that doesn't mean that you can't still find and develop a star there. It's rare, but it's not impossible.
Yeah.
And other teams have done that. So I think through the draft, like you still have some optionality. It's just not the surefire, this guy's going to be an absolute stud, Cooper Flag, which a lot of other teams have already like set their sights on and established that that is an approach that they're willing to take. Bulls aren't willing to do that. So what else do you have to look at? I would say packaging picks together along with some of the mid-tier contracts that are on the roster and trading those guys for an all-star. I think that can be a little risky because you might end up in a situation similar to the Vooch trade where Vooch is a very good player, but you give up a lot of draft capital for him and he's not going to like put you over the top as a contender. And so you have to be careful about going after those kind of guys. Like Sabonis, I think, falls into that category of somebody who a lot of people have talked about. The Bulls may be going after, who's obviously a very talented player, a multi-time all-star, but is he the guy that can really put you over the edge with this core? Because I think the other thing is they've established they want to play this style, and you can't just be bringing in, random players that slow you down now. Like we saw what happened with DeRozan. As good as he was, he took them out of playing this way, and this way has been successful. So I think you're factoring that in, but ultimately I think it's going to come down to trades and free agency. Free agency, I think, will open up a little bit in 2026, but I mean, Luka's probably not going to be going to the Bulls, he's probably going to stay with the Lakers at this point. So, I mean, it's possible. I think you want to leave that door open for yourself, but ultimately it's going to need to be a slow, patient approach where you're developing through the draft and then you're striking opportunistically on guys that fit your core and your style of play. And so I don't think this is going to be you land Cooper Flag, off to the races you go, in the Eastern Conference Finals in a year or two. It's going to be these guys continue to develop. We move them along. You see what you get in them. You have them on new contracts, and then you strike when the right guy becomes available. And that's going to have to be their approach. And I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with it. It's just not the build through the draft method, which is flawed, but it is also feasible. It works.
You said some interesting things I have questions about. So when it comes to drafting, obviously the style the Bulls play, they like to run. So getting somebody through the draft, younger legs, fresher legs, you can acclimate them to what you're really trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
What is the free agent because that they can get that can come fit a style like this that is going to be a guy that is running all the time? So because in my head, when I'm thinking of free agent, I'm thinking guys who are already well established, guys in their mid-20s, you know what I'm saying, mid to late 20s, I would say. So I don't know that their injury history. Usually there is one when it comes to those kind of players. So with the style and pace that they're playing at, they have to be somebody that kind of fits in there. Is that truly what you're looking at when you want a free agent, or are you looking to just get the biggest star possible?
I think it really just depends on the context. I compared this Bulls team to the 2019 Nets or whatever it was a couple weeks ago, where it was like a young up and coming team. They were building without a lot of draft equity, but like they had some interesting young players. They drafted Jared Allen like in the 20s.
Yes.
Young D'Angelo Russell was an all-star. And then all of a sudden Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant want to come and you blow it all up for that.
Hey, James Harden.
And then you're on a completely different trajectory. I don't expect anything like that to happen for the Bulls.
Right.
Just because that's so rare. Not saying that like they couldn't, but it's just not something that you count on. But like, yeah, I mean, if Giannis demands a trade to the Bulls, like, do you do that? Yeah, because it's Giannis.
Yeah.
For sure. But like if Julius Randle wants to come or, like somebody who's on that level, not like no disrespect to him. He's been an all-star. He's a great player. But just in terms of the way that he plays, it doesn't really, in my mind, fit with how the Bulls are trying to play and how they've been successful. So I do think you need to be a little bit more picky and choosy with it just because you want to continue doing the things that have made you successful up until a certain point. If Giannis or Jokic or Luka or those kind of guys say, I want to go play in Chicago, then all bets are off and you go make that happen. So
I completely agree with that.
I think there's got to be a line there somewhere where you decide, is it worth it or not? And I think that was the process for Vooch at the time, and it was worth it. And I don't know, and even Arturas said this during his press conference after the trade deadline, we have an opportunity to be patient here. And I would expect that that's the approach that he takes of not trying to hurry things along, which was one of the concerns that Pina had in the article.
And it is funny to hear AK preach patience from one corner of his mouth. Because then in the other corner of his mouth,
it's over here.
And Pina also pointed this out in his article. What does AK keep telling the media and thus Bulls fans by proxy? Not okay with mediocrity. Not striving for mediocrity. Won't accept mediocrity. He said it at the end of each of the last 3 seasons.
He said it.
And yeah, here the Bulls are. Right in the thick of mediocrity. So how patient are you willing to be if you keep preaching, we got to get out of the middle? I know that. I'm not a dummy. The NBA middle is the worst place to be. We don't want to be middle. We don't want to be average. We don't want to be mediocre. And then go out and execute all of your moves as the VP of basketball operations to build almost on purpose, it seems, a team that is aggressively mediocre.
Yeah.
Where does patience fit into that category? Into those, calculations?
Yeah, it started with, I think, borderline arrogance, then went to patience. Because you do remember when he said, just wait and see what we do. We got it. Just wait and see how we can rock this right here.
Goran Dragic.
Tony Bradley, let's roll. And and that's where the message is kind of muddy and it gets kind of lost because you're walking along and you're like, yeah, all this is saying is great. But then you're seeing what's being said, but then you're hearing what's being said. And as I say a million times, man, saying ain't like doing. So I'm hearing you, but the actions that are being taken don't lend itself to what's being said. So how's the saying go? You want to believe me or your own eyes? So I'm going to believe my eyes, and what I'm seeing isn't what's being said. And is there time to get that together? Sure. There's absolutely time to fix that and kind of get that together and get everybody back on the same boat. But to not act like there isn't a disconnect in what's being said and what's being done would not be fair to, Bulls fans, period. To just say, turn a blind eye to it. You know what I mean? That's not a fair way to do it at all. So I'm waiting for the actions to match and live up to the words, because the words can be pretty, but the actions are putting you right there in the middle, and that is simply not where you want to be.
The other thing, Goat, is that, and you've pointed out before, I think, in some way, like preaching patience, but and then also the AK thing he was saying at the trade deadline press conference, like about not skipping steps, and that is preaching patience. We're not going to skip steps this time. We tried to skip steps by assembling Vooch, Lonzo, Caruso, put all these quality veteran players together. We're not going to do it this time. Some out there in the NBA who cover it, who watch it, who are puppet masters and executive roles across the league would say it is a lack of patience for AK to not fully realize that a full-scale rebuild is required, and that patience might be prioritizing the top end of the draft for at least a year, if not two.
Yeah,
that is a different form of patience.
I hear what you're saying, and I agree. I think that the way and what AK has kind of tried to describe is that, like, you need to get young talent on your team somehow, right? And then you go from there. And I think what they wanted to avoid was going through a multi-year worst team in the league process where you're scraping the bottom of the barrel every year and playing Wayne Selden and Walter Lemon Jr.
Shout out.
And really trying to be bad on purpose to get high draft picks. And so I think the process has been, okay, let's collect some good young players. We feel confident in Coby. He's only 25. We feel confident in Giddey. That was a good buy low opportunity. They bought high on it, but it was a buy low opportunity on a young player. And they've got Dalen Terry and Patrick Williams and Julian Phillips. And you can continue to accumulate those guys, understanding that, yes, maybe their ceiling may not be quite as high because they are a known commodity in some senses, but also their floor is not as low. And so you could argue, yeah, that's how you end up in the middle. When you raise the floor and lower the ceiling, that's the middle.
The ceiling is the roof, Coach.
Shout out.
But
Empire
then
Foreign.
I think on the other side of that, it's how can we not necessarily speed up the rebuild process, but go around it and go around that bottoming out phase. And I think that's what they've tried to do. It remains to be seen whether or not that can work. I'm skeptical of that, but the returns that we've seen over the last month have been encouraging. And like I said, there clearly is something to the way that they're building it. That doesn't mean that they have accomplished all their goals yet, but it does mean that they have picked a path, and this is the way that they're doing it. So I tend to agree that bottoming out, doing the rebuild thing, collecting draft picks, doing it that way is the patient approach. But I do also see how they are coming to the conclusion that they are with their group. And again, you can agree or disagree with that, but that's, I think, what they're trying to say.
Okay.
So the last thing that we'll get to, and I'm guessing this is where you wanted to go, Dave. I've seen a lot of Bulls fans reacting to this column already today. It's making the rounds. Some people like it. Some people are not as big of a fan. For, I think, a couple specific things that Michael Pina says. And he said what you said, Goat, which is, hey, there's a difference between making the play-in as a stale, aging, expensive group of players that's going nowhere, that's dying, and making the play-in with this young group. That is accurate. I think we all agree with that. There is a difference there. Michael wrote, there's also a cold splash of reality in knowing there's a decent chance that 0 players on this roster will ever make an all-star team. and that so much more work, i.e. losing, needs to happen before they make serious noise in the postseason. Now, don't kill the messenger. I'm just reading the words that someone else wrote. Parentheses. I'm pretty close to agreeing with that statement. Like, look, it is bold to say confidently, concretely right now, today, 0% chance that any of Coby White, Josh Giddey, Matas Buzelis, those three, will ever have a single All-Star appearance. Even I, as a skeptic, would say, one of those three guys has a greater than 0.0% chance of making an All-Star squad at some point in their careers. I am not as outraged by that statement as I think a lot of Bulls fans were who read it.
Yeah.
How dare you?
How dare
you suggest such a thing? And I'm sitting here saying, I can see a world where that happens. Yeah. I can see it happen.
I think that's a thing about this recent stretch that has been kind of wild to me, is that the excitement has, I think, even exceeded how well they played. And I get why. They've been fun. They've been exciting. They had an insane win, one of the best games of the NBA season against the Lakers. I understand it. They're putting up insane numbers, Giddey and Coby are. So I get that excitement, but the just the hyperbole with it, I think that's what sets you up for.
Reactionary. And to be, open and honest, like, it's the same overreactionary kind of mentality that passionate sports fans bring to any game on any given night. Like, I sat here in mid to late November saying the Bulls, lost Alex Caruso for nothing. And I've been getting roasted for that as Josh Giddey has continued to play well down the stretch of this season.
Mustache, man.
In that moment in time, I truly believe that. In a different sense, I still kind of believe that, y'all. But it is the same overreactionary way that fans talk that has some of y'all right now chugging that Kool-Aid faster than you can find it, saying, how dare you suggest that Coby, Josh, and Matas will be anything less than first-team All-NBA guys any day now.
Whoa.
You hear that kind of talk on both social media right now.
Oh, man.
And it's like, guys, can we pump the brakes? Can we pump the brakes?
So, for me, what you read, I didn't have a problem with. I didn't agree with, but I didn't have a problem with.
Okay.
That wasn't the line he said that I had a problem with.
I like it.
It was the part where he talked about, when he was talking about the upcoming contracts, and he said, neither of these two are likely to ever sniff an all-star team. I took issue with that part.
Okay.
Just in how it was worded and how it was said in that one.
You had an issue with the word sniff being used?
Yeah, I did. Okay. I really, truly did.
Okay.
I had an issue with that.
Okay.
Like, them dudes ain't never sniffing. That's how I heard it. And that's how I'd say. And I was like, no, bro, I'm not with that. Y'all know how I feel about Coby. And I've said this on the show before. I am out of the business of doubting Coby White. I'm out of it. I'm done. I've watched him overcome every single thing people have said he can't do. I've watched him actually do it. And do it to a level to where now the NBA kind of takes notice about him and, kind of putting their eyes on him. So I don't think it's crazy because like a 0% chance, the no % chance, like can't do it. No, I don't believe that at all. It is all for me based on winning because I've watched guys be here specifically. I watched Zach LaVine be here and put up some incredible numbers, but we knew he wasn't going to the All-Star game because that team was not a winning team. And that's really what it was boiling down to. Would a mid-team allot an All-Star from the Eastern Conference? I think so. I'm not saying this is what I'm like striving for. You know what I mean? I want the team to be mid. So, hey, at least we got a guy in the All-Star team. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying more wins, put more eyes and more focus on you. Unless you're a bigger name star like a Trae Young, or something like that, then it's a little bit different. But Coby White and what I'm seeing him do, and Coby is one of those guys who was always notoriously off to a slow start too. So if that flips and changes, I could definitely see him making that All-Star game or making that push next year or even the year after. Josh Giddey as well. Like if that's Josh Giddey is what you're telling me we're getting, dude, that's an all-star player. You know what I mean? It really is. Like that is truly an all-star player. So yeah, I took a little issue with that word. They're not gonna sniff one. Like, get out of here. Like, that's not gonna happen. I disagree with that. I think Coby White definitely has a chance. He has more than a 0% chance of making an all-star game, and I think Giddey does as well if this continues up.
Coby averaged 27.7 points, 4.7 rebounds, 3.7 assists on 63% true shooting. Giddey averaged 20 points, 9.5 rebounds, 9 assists on 59 true shooting. If those guys put up those numbers and the Bulls win 60% of the games the way they did in March for the rest of their careers, they're both all-stars.
Yeah.
Like forever. So I would be a little hesitant to say that they'll never sniff it.
Yeah.
Matas might be the best of all three of them,
Yeah.
Like who knows?
I didn't even mention Matas, right?
So I'm not going to sit here and say that they can't continue to get better. I will say I'm not sure if they can do that because that's insane the way that they produced this month. And I don't know if 9-6 is reasonable to expect from them every single month moving forward. So we'll see. But again, that's why there is value to me in continuing on this season the way that they are, because you want to see that stuff. You want to know if these guys are who they have shown they were this past month, and see if they can continue to be that player, because that's who the Bulls need to find. And if they have those guys already, great. You don't have to worry about it. Yeah. But like, I don't know. I still think that doesn't mean that you stop looking for more talent.
Correct.
But yeah, those guys are putting up all-star numbers this month for sure.
If it's anybody's ascension, I believe more in, it was Coby. So I felt was more sustainable. It was definitely Coby White's. And nothing against Giddey. I just didn't think he would continue to shoot over 50% from three. But Coby White, for me, just looking like a player that you can't handle and can't stop. And it's the fact that he's getting to the free throw line. That's the stuff that carries over into the next season. That's not something that's just happening because it's happening. No, you're getting to the line. You're becoming that guy. The refs are recognizing it.
Right.
That stuff continues on into into future seasons.
And Rob brings up a great point in the comments. Now we wait and see next year's data, a full year with a similar roster and make decisions.
Yes.
I agree with that.
Agreed.
Right.
100%.
Not only are the Bulls pretty limited in terms of their ability to, I mean, they're not going to be a free agent player next year just because most of the guys on the team are under contract. So they're not going to be going after a prize free agent this year. Maybe they make some trades and continue to overhaul the roster. But I do think that you need more information now before you make any huge swings of like, it's time to go get Sabonis. The difference between, us and a championship is DeMontis Sabonis right now.
Right,
I don't think any of us have enough information to really know that yet. But if you get to this point next year and they're still playing like this, maybe that's a different story.
It's a different story.
And yeah, I think, and it speaks to something that Callie wrote earlier today too. Congratulating the Bulls for the play-in, and then reminding them like some Bulls fans think, okay, yes, it's a younger team going to the play-in tournament again. It's fine because they're young and will get better. Giddey's 22, Coby's 25, Matas, a fresh 20-year-old rookie whose role will continue to increase. His game, we believe, we hope, will continue to expand. Talked about that in postgame last night. And so here we go. Off we go. Sky's the limit. Who needs the lottery? Who needs tanking? We got our group. Let's go. It's going to get better. Kyle was like, not necessarily. Some teams in the East that aren't good this year could turn around next year and be, instead of
look at the Magic.
Yeah.
They were a top 5 seed last year.
Yeah.
And now they've dealt with a lot of injuries this year and have had a tough season, but progression is not linear for teams or for players.
And Zach and Vooch playing like legit all-star caliber players for, as Goat said, damn near 50 games was a big part of the Bulls having the win total they had before this 9-6 month of March.
And as another team, look at Philly. My God, like if they get a high draft pick and combining that with an Embiid and a Paul George and a Maxey, they won't be out of here at the bottom anymore, ladies and gents.
That team that looked around, saw where they were, knew what was what, and then steered towards the top of the draft lottery standings. That team?
They were like, we're out.
Oh, man.
Yeah, they're going to be a problem. The Raptors, you know what I'm saying? That's another team that can be a problem also. They've got their free agent already. So, yeah, they could be an issue too because they also might be picking high in the draft as well. So, yeah, it won't stay like this. Like, there will always, as you mentioned, be teams that go up. There will always be teams that go down, for sure. You can pretty much bet the bank, for me, that Philly is going to go up. Like, that's going to happen. And the Heat, they're not going to stay where they are either. Like, there are a lot of things. There are other teams involved in this, ladies and gentlemen, that don't care about what the Chicago Bulls are doing. We do because we love them, and we sincerely do. But these other teams are trying to make themselves better, and the Bulls need to be doing everything possible to do that as well. We need them to exhaust all efforts. Exhaust it all, man. Leave it out there on the floor, please.
Curse my stupid heart for loving the Bulls. That's going to do it for those of you watching on our various streaming services. Shout out to each and every one of you. If you want that bonus coverage, just head to allchgo.com. So, gentlemen, as we wrap up here, and again, shout out to Michael Pina with great piece of writing that gave us our fodder for today's show. Yeah. Because, again, after breaking down all of this and trying to find common ground with Bulls fans who see things differently, I appreciated the simplicity from both sides that he brought together into one piece of sports writing and brought facts to both sides.
He did.
And that's all I, as a Bulls fan, am ever trying to operate within. Facts, reality, probability. And probability is where I think Bulls fans are all over the place.
But also, 2 months ago, there weren't facts to support that one side of the argument.
I agree.
That has changed. And
that has changed.
That is objectively good.
And now it's the fact that has changed that has some people, I refer to it as drinking the Kool-Aid, you might saying, how dare you suggest on Twitter that Josh and Coby won't be multi-time All-Stars. That's going to happen. I'm sitting here as a Bulls fan saying, I don't know that that's going to happen. Might not. I'd lean towards probably not. Matas, too soon to tell. Of the three, I'd feel best about my money on Matas Buzelis being an NBA All-Star at some point in his career. Mm-hmm. Of those three. That's just my personal opinion. Everyone's allowed to have one. That's mine. But the outrage, and again, it's like this evidence exists now to support that this is an interesting young group of players the Bulls have assembled, and that they have played well for a little over a month.
Yeah.
Some faction of this fan base has taken that evidence, small sample size as it is, to say, we're good, let's run. And awards will follow for all of these players as individuals and playoff runs for the team. And I'm like, y'all buy stuff very quickly. Don't even blink before handing over your credit card.
Take my money.
Of belief.
Take my money. Katie.
We've mentioned some of the not short term, but this season, the pros and cons if they make the plan. This draft, if they make the pros and cons of if they make the plan, or of them making the plan. I can't talk today. I don't know if you've noticed.
You're doing a great job.
Talking
great
is
job,
so
Katie.
hard when I'm also reading.
Bring it home.
Anyway, and I wonder if there's a few longer term pros and cons, because that's kind of what I'm looking at. The long term con of this play-in run is that I am petrified that AK is going to see this and be like, you know what? Let's just keep Vooch.
I like it here.
Let's just keep.
Yeah.
We could do this.
I
Let's run
said
it back
that while
with
watching the
Vooch.
game last night, and I was only half kidding.
Yeah, I mean, because it's a very real possibility that he's going to see it and be like, hey, maybe we could, do a little something more with this. But then I think on the other side, there are, potential long-term pros, and we just won't know. But, maybe in some fantasy unicorn world, an NBA free agent sees this play and run and is like, hey, I kind of want to play with that Matas guy, or I kind of want to play with Coby White. You never know.
Yeah, that's why I like Matas hanging out with Will Smith in any capacity. People are going to see that. I want that visibility. That's why I like Coby being talked about by so many other NBA pundits and things like that, because it just increases the visibility of your team and guys looking at it. So that's because, again, we have to exhaust all these other ways, because the one way we want to do it, they're not going to really do it, which is that draft. But you have to do it that other kind of way. So how many more eyes can I get on Matas? How many more eyes can I get on Coby? Hey, Josh Giddey going around and making the rounds on, NBA TV or the Today Show in Australia. Good day, Australia. Good day. As long as, doing those kind of things and representing the Chicago Bulls, that's what you have to kind of count on, and to help you increase your visibility for these guys that are free agents and looking for somewhere to go.
And that's on them too. They have to earn that by playing well.
Yeah.
And credit to them they have.
Yeah. That's where you get on the TV.
Yep.
Credit to them. Credit to the Cubs. Got a dub.
They got one.
How the Sox doing?
They were down 6-0. It is now 6-1 in the bottom of the 8th.
Hey. comeback.
Yeah.
If the Bulls can do it, the Sox can do it.
It's all right, man. We won two games. We 2-3.
Hey.
Let's roll, boy.
You know, Jerry's watching these early regular season Sox games with bated breath while he's like, "What? Who? What did the Bulls do last night?"
Let's
all
get
right,
out
well-
of here so Sox can set up.
What's that?
Let's get out of here so Sox can set up. For
Let's
their
do
first
it.
Game.
Let's do that
That's the like.
so that Jerry can tune in to CHGO White Sox. We are back on Friday, y'all. We're off tomorrow, as are the Bulls. We'll be back Friday for that Bulls Trailblazers action. Woo! Huge stakes for that one.
Huge.
Blazers 1 win shy of the Bulls right now in those NBA Tankathon standings. Reed Goat stuff. He had a great piece that came up. He's got 2 great pieces already this week.
Pretty good.
Breaking down the games, breaking down Billy's thoughts on the Bulls heading where they're heading. Will the Goat Gottlieb, Will_Gottlieb. Read yourself, allchgo.com. Become a diehard to read all of it. Big Dave's about BWL Sports. I'm Bulls_Peck. We are CHGO Bulls. Shout out to the one and only incredible Queen of the Controls, Katie Duffy. Have a great Wednesday night. Have a great Thursday. We'll talk to y'all on Friday. Hit the like on your way out. See you, be good.
I still love you, Russell Westbrook.
We all silly like the mayor.